Marshall. Man on a Marshall.
The universe, as has been previously noted by several leading philosophers and one particularly cynical goldfish, is large, really large. You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. And yet, in a galaxy where the most powerful governing body is a committee of sentient houseplants who refuse to pass any legislation without first being misted with artesian spring water, there are certain anomalies that defy the standard laws of thermodynamic probability. One of these anomalies is Salma Hayek. To understand Salma Hayek, one must first understand the concept of presence. Most sentient beings in a galaxy have a presence roughly equivalent to a lukewarm cup of tea or a damp napkin. They occupy space, they displace a certain amount of oxygen, and they generally try not to be noticed by the local authorities. Salma Hayek, however, possesses a presence that is currently being monitored by several deep space telescopes because it has its own gravitational pull. She began her existence in a place called Coatzacoalcos in Mexico. The name sounds like something a Vogan would sneeze while trying to recite poetry, but it is in fact a terrestrial city. From there, she decided, with the kind of casual confidence usually reserved for people who know exactly where their towel is, to become one of the most famous people on the planet. The problem, of course, was Hollywood, a place that considers creativity to be the act of remaking a movie that was already terrible 30 years ago, but with more lens flare. When Salma arrived, Hollywood took one look at her and said, "We're sorry, but you have an accent. Maybe play a maid who doesn't speak? Or how about a curvy cactus?" Salma Hayek's response to this was not to leave, but to stay and become so undeniably brilliant that the universe had to rearrange its furniture just to accommodate her. Take, for example, From Dusk Till Dawn. In this film, she appears for approximately 7 minutes. During these 7 minutes, she carries a large albino Burmese python around her neck like a particularly dangerous pashmina. Now, most people when presented with a giant snake would spend their time screaming, fainting, or attempting to become invisible. Salma Hayek, however, managed to make the snake look like it was the one having the identity crisis. And it is widely believed by reptile wranglers that the snake was actually more intimidated by her than she was of it. But Salma is not merely a collection of aesthetically pleasing atoms arranged in a way that makes the rest of the species feel like they've been drawn by a distracted toddler. She is also a producer. This is a job that involves shouting at people until they do what you want, but doing it while wearing expensive shoes. She spent years trying to make a movie about Frida Kahlo. Hollywood, in its infinite beige wisdom, told her that nobody wanted to see a movie about a unibrowed Mexican painter who spent most of her life in bed. Salma, possessing the kind of stubbornness that could stop a runaway starship, decided to produce it herself. She played Frida. She became Frida. She even grew the unibrow. The result was an Oscar nomination and a sudden collective realization by the Academy that they had been spectacularly wrong, which is a state of being they have become quite accustomed to. In the grand scheme of the multiverse, Salma Hayek serves as a vital reminder that limitations are merely suggestions made by people who lack imagination. She is a woman who can talk to billionaire businessmen, world leaders, and probably the occasional hyper-intelligent shade of the colour blue, all without losing her cool. She is currently married to a Frenchman who owns a significant portion of the planet's luxury goods. This is a very sensible move. If you are going to inhabit a planet as ridiculous as Earth, you may as well do it while having easy access to high-end handbags and the occasional vineyard. There is a theory which states that if ever anyone discovers exactly what Salma Hayek is for and why she is here, she will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable. There is another theory which states that this has already happened, and she is actually a highly advanced scout for a civilization that communicates entirely through the medium of intense eye contact and impeccable bone structure. If you were to meet her, the guide suggests you do 2 things. First, try to remember your own name. You will likely have forgotten it. Second, do not mention the snake. She's heard it all before and they didn't get along. Salma is, in short, a triumph of carbon-based engineering. She is a reminder that while the universe may be a cold, indifferent void filled with exploding stars and bureaucratic paperwork, it occasionally gets bored and decides to create someone who makes the whole chaotic mess look like it might actually have been a good idea after all. And if you disagree, she will probably just look at you with that particular expression of hers, the one that suggests she knows exactly what you're thinking and finds it mildly pathetic, and you will find yourself apologising for something you haven't even done yet. Which, all things considered, is a very efficient way to run a galaxy. And that, when you come to think about it, is probably as good a reason for the universe to exist as any other.